Hello, my name is Jacob, and I am a partner at Z Media Creations. And in today's video, we will talk about demographics, specifically the financial impacts, and we will wrap up by talking about how demographics can impact your business. Now, demographics can affect a society's economic growth, types of growth, consumption patterns, savings and investment patterns. They can affect pressures on government budgets, and they can also impact what types of businesses or industries are going to become growth industries. As an example, if you have an aging population, healthcare becomes a bigger and bigger industry. Now, in a typical population pyramid, you have a small amount of people at the top that are retired. They have mature workers that are higher income and higher investments, theoretically based, higher savings rates because they're preparing for retirement. Then you have younger workers with lower income but higher consumption and debt because they're trying to start families. And at the bottom, you have children that don't make money and they're only consuming, but they are the future young workers and mature workers. However, what we have seen is a population pyramid that is starting to reverse, where there's less children and less younger workers because of the lower birth rates. There's a temporary bump in mature workers that will in the next 5 to 15 years turn to retirees. So there's a short-term boost in tax receipts, theoretically, and investment in savings. However, in the next several years and up to 10 to 20 years, this will lead to more budgetary pressures because of less tax revenue from these workers retiring and more spending because they're retiring on Social Security, Medicare, and other forms of government assistance. Once this happens, consumption-led growth will become impossible, and already is becoming impossible in many parts of the world. The only consistent growth sector will be healthcare. Now, why is there an upside down pyramid? Well, a big reason why is because of urbanization. Urbanization increases the cost of land because it's a supply and demand equation. You have a finite amount of land in the city or urbanized area. You have people coming in to live there, and so as supply remains finite, demand increases, increasing the cost of the land, which in return increases the cost of everything and crowds out funding to have kids. Another reason why there is an upside down pyramid is because we're living longer. Because of that, the people that are retired, that bracket has been increasing and increasing over the past several decades, even century, because of improvements in healthcare technology. So in other words, we're having less kids because of urbanization, and we're living longer because of technology. That's why there's an upside down pyramid. Now let's look at the types of economic growth that happen because of demographics. Younger workers generate more consumption. Older workers produce more than they consume, so having access to an outside market is imperative for a country if it wants to remain economically viable. Now, let's look at the debt aspect of demographics. As you're younger, you become age 25, 35, and as this graph shows, 44, that's when you're getting more and more debt because of your family formation, you're buying a home, you still have your student loan debt as well. So this is when there's more and more debt. Now, once you reach age 54, this is when the kids start to move out of the house and start to form their own families. So you can start paying down your debt. And this trend continues until you eventually die. Now, let's look at the consumption. Consumption goes up with age until you reach your 40s. That plateaus, it starts to go down in your 50s, goes down even more as you get older. Now, if you look at the income aspect, income peaks in your 40s and 50s, and then goes downhill after that because you're retired. If you look at the investment and savings aspect of demographics, we see younger workers save a big percentage of their income, but their incomes are much lower than mature workers. So in reality, individuals in the about 45 to 64 range, even let's say early 40s range, are saving more than younger workers because they're making more money. And though it shows when you're 45 to 54, your savings rate is lower, that's because a lot of that money is going to their kids' college, their kids' first car maybe, or helping them with their bills. So in reality, the actual surplus is going to their kids. So the actual surplus is somewhat misleading on this graph. It's actually higher than what it shows. From this graph, we see that the average net worth peaks in the late 50s and early 60s. Now, demographics can affect government budgets tremendously. Looking at this graph, we see tax revenue peaks from age 45 to 54. The big reason this is because of income and the fact that these individuals can't take advantage of child tax credits or deductions like they previously could because the kids have moved out of the house. So we see government receipts go up usually for these age brackets, which is why governments love their mature workers because they're not retired yet and they're bringing in a lot of money for the government coffers. Now, once individuals retire, the government revenue goes down because they're not making as much. Now, how do demographics affect your business? Once you understand that younger workers and consumers are your future consumers, you can start to look at where they're at and target them with your marketing efforts. You have to first find out what the current demographics of your business are in terms of who your consumers are, their age bracket. Let's say your business sells more to female customers because it's a makeup business versus male customers. So you have to take into account age brackets and gender, interests on Facebook, etc., etc. And once you find out what your demographic is that you currently buys from you, then you can look at local data and see where they live at predominantly and target those areas with your marketing efforts. Here are the credits. I want to thank you for watching this video and look forward to seeing you in next week's video.